In this video, we're going to talk about the thesis statement. First thing we're going to do is define the thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? Well, a thesis statement is a statement of purpose, intent, or main idea of an essay. And there's two ways you can look at a thesis statement. You can look at it from the writer's point of view or from the reader's point of view. And we're going to be writing them, so let's think about the writer's point of view first. When we make a thesis statement, we're trying to limit our topic. And that helps us as writers because it functions like an outline. It's our three main points of our outline before we start writing. So if you can define your thesis statement before you begin writing, it makes the writing and the research a lot easier. It's the way we narrow down our writing. And we're going to be writing some later. But think about that as the writer. This is to help you keep your writing on track, to start your outline, and to narrow down your topic. The reader uses the thesis statement to understand the writing. If the writing was random, it would be very difficult to read it, and then people wouldn't want to read it. But the thesis statement helps the writer understand what is being written. We're going to talk about two types of writing and two types of thesis statement. One is the expository writing and the other is the persuasive. Our expository writing just means to explain. Usually it's defined as explain or expound, and that's easy to remember because expository and explain both start with EX. So that helps us remember when someone says an expository essay, they mean an essay that explains something. And then our persuasive essay, we're trying to convince the reader. And when we start with an expository essay, we're going to start with a working thesis statement. And that just means it's a simple thesis statement. One of the things we do at the end of an essay is to go back and dress up that thesis statement if we can. But a working thesis statement is when you're just kind of laying it out in simple terms what your essay's about. And I have an example here. Golf originated in Scotland, moved to England, and then became popular in the United States. So that helps me as a writer. If I were going to write an essay on golf, I could write about so many things. And so I decided to limit my essay to one paragraph or one section on how golf originated in Scotland, the next section to what happened when it moved to England, and then the third section or body paragraph is how it became popular in the United States. That helps me as a writer know what I'm going to research. It helps a reader look at that and know what they're getting ready to read. But a working thesis statement is when we start very simply, just bam, 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 we're going to talk about 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go back and dress it up later. In persuasive, here's an example of an persuasive thesis statement. And when you write a persuasive thesis statement, you don't say, I think. When you write it like you've got the information to back it up. And then when you do your research, you find the information to back up your side of the argument. And so an example of a persuasive thesis statement would be unmonitored television viewing harms children physically, mentally, and socially. I didn't say I think it might. I said it does. And so the reader knows that they're going to read about physical, mental, and social harm of television. So we're going to be talking about thesis statements, and we're going to be writing some thesis statements. So let's go ahead and work on writing some thesis statements. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a topic, and I'm going to tell you whether I want it to be persuasive or expository, and then I want you to define it. So that's going to be your homework, but we're going to practice a few. Let's do sports. And it's going to be an expository essay. So this is what your homework's going to look like. Now, sports is a pretty big category. And so we've got to limit it. And then sometimes I'm just going to give you this broad category. And I'll give you a couple where I'll define it. But let me go ahead and define it for this one. Let's say I give you the sports, football, baseball, and soccer. Okay, so I want you to give me a thesis statement about sports. That's an expository essay, and the sports I want you to include is football, baseball, and soccer. And you might put something like, and remember we kind of start broad when we start a introductory paragraph, but our thesis is at the end where it's pretty specific. So you could maybe put 3 sports that are popular in the United States are football, baseball, and soccer. And so that's going to tell the reader that our first body paragraph is going to be about football, our second body paragraph is going to be about baseball, and our third body paragraph is going to be about soccer. And it's going to be expository. Now let's take sports, and let's take these same 3 things, and let's write it as a persuasive thesis statement. Football, baseball, and soccer, and we're going to be persuasive. And I'm thinking about that and giving you a chance to think about it also. And you might pick a different persuasive, but someone might say football is better than baseball and soccer because it is more well known, the athletes are better trained, and provides entertainment nearly year-round. Now, I don't know if you believe that or not, and it doesn't matter whether you believe it. I have to persuade the reader, and it's a little bit like doing debate. I have to persuade the reader based on these facts. So when I did my research, I would have to put it's more well known, so I'd have to put statistics about how people know more about football, how long it's been around, how long soccer's been popular. Athletes are better trained. I would have to provide the facts to support that. And then it's entertainment year-round, how long the season is and stuff. We could easily change this. So let's say you like soccer. Soccer is better than baseball and football because it is more well known, the athletes are better trained, and provides entertainment nearly year-round. And if I was being persuasive, I would find the information to support that. So think about the difference of that. One is just information, just 1, 2, 3. The other is you can slant it either way you want it, and I'm going to be providing you some slants. Like when I say persuasive, I want you to pick something to persuade me about. And then expository, that's going to be a little bit different type of essay, different type of thesis statement. And so for your homework, I'm going to give you the topic, the type of essay, and sometimes I will give you the subtopics, sometimes I won't. And let's just practice one without any subtopics. Let's say, let's do one for television expository and then television persuasive. Okay. So if it's going to be expository, you've got to come up with 3 things about television that you're going to explain. Television has changed how people see the world through news, advertising, and I was going to say programs, but I don't want that one. News, advertising, and movies. Okay, that's showing me. I'm just going to explain. Persuasive television has been the best invention in the last 100 years. Oh, really, it's 100 years is a long time. But anyways, we'll just put last 100 years. And so my thesis statement has to show what the reader's getting ready to read about. This doesn't show what my paragraphs are going to be about, but that's okay with a persuasive. Up here, this persuasive is a little bit better in that it tells what it's going to be compared against. Here it just says that we're going to talk about the best inventions in the last 100 years. And we might say has been the best invention in the last 100 years. Far superior to automobiles. Airplane travel. And telephones. And I think the telephones, gosh, I can't remember when they were invented. Television has been the best invention in the last 100 years, far superior to automobiles, airplane travel, and telephones in shaping American lives. And see, this further defines it in that you're going to be able to see I'm going to compare television to automobiles, airplane travel, and telephones. So I have my 3 body paragraphs. And you can see how that sets us up for our essays, our outlines. So here our outline would be news, advertising, and movies. And here our outline paragraph, our first body paragraph would be automobiles, airplane travel, and telephone. And then when I did my research, I would be looking for comparisons. So for your homework, I'm going to attach a file that has basic information. I'm going to give you a topic and have you write an expository and a persuasive thesis statement about it. And remember, our thesis statement just tells the intent or the purpose of the essay. And the thesis statements are different whether you're writing expository or persuasive essays. That's the end of the video.